Well, hello, friends, avid readers of Christian fiction. I'm Trisha Goyer here, and I'm here with Carrie Padgett, and we are talking about her new book, One Fine Day. I have it, it's not released yet, so I have a photo, which is just amazing of the cover. But welcome, Carrie.
Thank you so much, Trisha. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited to talk about this book. I am enjoying it so much. It makes me hungry, but I still enjoy it. So first, but before we talk about the book, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I live in Central California. We're out in the country on 2 acres, so we have a barn, and we used to have horses and potbelly pig and rabbits and all that, but now we just have 1 dog and 1 cat. We're empty nesters. I have a day job in the agriculture industry, and I write about things like almond diseases and pests. And right now I'm writing about weed resistance in cotton, which is not nearly as interesting as it sounds like.
I love that.
And fiction is my true love, though. That's what I really enjoy writing.
That is awesome. Okay, so this book is the first in the series with Rachel Houck.
Mm-hmm.
And just tell us a little bit about that, because it's part of the Sunrise books. And so for those who may not be familiar, just what was the journey to getting to write this book?
Okay. Well, yeah, if you're not familiar with the Sunrise method, they call it the James Patterson method, where they bring a name writer and up and coming writers that need that little boost and put us together. And we write a book set in the name author's series or location. For Susie May Warren, it was her Deep Haven. And for Rachel, it's Heart's Bend. So Rachel has several books set in Heart's Bend, which is her fictional little town right outside of Nashville. And then to be chosen, it was a blind audition, and we submitted a sample of our own writing, an idea for the book, and our resume, kind of how many books we've completed, conferences we've been to, and so on. And then I got moved on to the second stage, and that was when I wrote a opening scene for my story idea. And then it was Labor Day 2020, and I got the phone call from Rachel that she had picked me.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it was great.
So what was that moment like to hear Rachel's voice?
Well, my phone rang and it said Florida, and most people don't answer calls from an unknown number, but because I'm in the ag industry and I call people all over the country for things about continuing education, I went ahead and answered and said, "Hi, this is Carrie." And she said, "Hi, Carrie, this is Rachel Houck." And so I knew right then, and I just started jumping up and down. And we were at my daughter's house. I was watching the grandkids in the little kiddie pool outside, and the other adults were inside. So I'm jumping up and down outside. I'm pointing to my phone and mouthing to my husband through the window,
It's Rachel. It's Rachel.
And he says, what?
I love that. I love that. And so it's fun that it's set in Heart's Bend, which is this sweet little town, like you mentioned. And Rachel's writing, for those who aren't familiar, they're very relational and people and community focused and very sweet type of writing. It's not going to be the suspense with killing and those are some of the other Sunrise lead authors, but hers are the very relational, very sweet, lots of people in the town that you just fall in love with. So is that why you wanted to write with Rachel?
Yes, I definitely write in a similar style, contemporary. I have a fictional small town myself that has the same feel. A few quirky characters. Everybody knows everybody, kind of like Stars Hollow in Gilmore Girls too. That's both Rachel and I.
Started watching that last night. Gilmore Girls with my 12-year-old last night. I'm like, it's time. My youngest girl is 12. We're gonna go through the Gilmore Girls again.
Yeah, Rachel and I both love Stars Hollow and definitely fashioned our towns after that.
That is so great. Okay, so tell us about your book's premise, because immediately you fall in love with Chloe and with Sam, and they knew each other previously. They went two separate ways. So just how did you come up with the idea of Chloe and Sam and their relationship?
Well, I had read a couple of books about young widows, and they
Mhm.
really struck me. And so I knew I wanted to write one about a young widow because I wanted to explore the emotions of loss and grief and working through that. And how do you come to a place where you feel like you can love and trust again?
Mhm.
So I knew that I wanted to have a young widow, and I enjoy we're foodies. We enjoy cooking and baking, and so I made her a Paris pastry chef. And
Yum.
she she and Sam had been high school friends, kind of had a crush on each other, but it never went anywhere.
Mhm.
And after high school, they went their separate ways. Sam went to college, became an NFL quarterback, and he's kind of semi-estranged from his family. He doesn't come back to Hearts Bend very
Mhm.
often. Chloe comes back to help her mom, who's going through a rough time, and to kind of restart her life. And it turns out that Sam and his business partner have bought Haven's Bakery in Hearts Bend, and they hire Chloe to be the manager. So all of a sudden, Sam has to come back to Hearts Bend quite a bit. And as they spend more time together, those old feelings from high school are reignited.
Yeah. And I love that there's both of them have issues going on. Chloe, there's questions about what was happening before her husband, her French husband passed away, and things are happening with his family. And then Sam has injuries. And so that's what I love. It's like, you know, that yes, you want them, you know, you see the romance budding, but there's also these other questions and what's going to happen. And, you know, these other concerns and worries. So, when you're going along and carrying those themes within the book, did you find yourself going, oh wait, I got to go back to his injury, or oh wait, I need to go back to her thing? Because it's just like you just want them to be together over and over again. And there's these other plot points you have to deal with too.
Yes, there was a lot of back and forth and hopping around, and also adding in the spiritual thread. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really overt. There's no verses quoted, but Chloe's mom definitely is guiding her in her relationship with the Lord, and Sam is questioning too. And that was fun to add that arc and bring them together along on their spiritual journey together too.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know, like I said, I was getting hungry going through the book because it talks about like you walk in and the smell of all these things. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just getting hungry reading this. And especially because I'm not all the way through the book, but I was like looking ahead because I knew we were going to talk. And there's this one cookie.
Yeah.
Can you describe the cookie that
Yeah.
readers will get to? But it's just amazing.
Yeah. Rachel found this cookie that her neighbors made. And so we tracked down the recipe, and I made them as a sample, and they are beyond amazingly delicious. They have white chocolate chips, mini, uh, mini chocolate chips, and crushed up cookies and cream candy bars. And then it's this giant cookie about this big
Mm,
around and about this thick, and it's just to die for. So we
yeah.
modeled one of the cookies in the book after that.
Yeah, it's so funny because the research that you have to do to be able to write a book. It's like, yes, I'm going to be baking cookies today.
Yes,
This is going to
exactly.
be wonderful. Yeah. But I love that your family, you mentioned that you already like to be in the kitchen and like to bake. Before we went live, you showed me a photo. Do you still have that photo of the
Yeah.
cake?
Yes. This is my daughter with a cake she made at Christmas time.
It
So
looks amazing.
it does, and it tasted fabulous too. So she did the chocolate bark for the outside from scratch and everything.
Yeah. And I always love, I mean, any book when you have someone baking or that's their talent. I don't know. I'm more of I like to cook meals like good dinners and stuff. If I bake, I just like when I eat it all. So I don't bake as much. But I enjoy watching baking shows and reading books about bakers. And I think there's so many people out there that love that. So it was so fun that you were able to tap into that with Chloe.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun.
So you mentioned like going and getting the call from Rachel and knowing that you're one of the authors. For those who aren't familiar, tell her a little bit about the process of what happens, because Sunrise really does an excellent job of helping their authors to write really good books.
They really do. So Rachel chose 4 of us to write stories in Heart's Bend. And so we met together in January of last year, 2021. And all of us met together with Susie and Rachel, except one gal had just had a baby. So she Zoomed in one day. But then the 3 of us that were there, we brainstormed our stories. And Susie, uses the story equation. And so we came with our character's dark moment and some parts of their character sketched out already, and the premise that we had auditioned with, and we just started brainstorming what could happen and when, and more about their dark moments and their backstory and so on. So we were there for 5 days, had a fabulous time in Florida. It was still weird to me to walk on the beach at sunset and the sun was behind me.
Yeah.
From California, I'm used
to California, yeah,
in the ocean. But that was fabulous. And then came home and got to work. My book was first, so I had a few months to write a rough draft and sent it to Rachel, and then she sent it back with suggestions and edits, and we ended up doing about 4 drafts. So the story changed quite a bit, but it was really fun to write. I loved Chloe and Sam. And then once it was all done, then now's the really fun time with the cover and promoting and getting to talk about it with you and other people.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I think, you mentioned like 4 drafts, and but I think with because you have Rachel's input and you have Susie's input and Lindsay, who's the editor, her input. I've written a lot of books, and I was able to go, and we did because I'm one of the lead authors, and so I was able to go to our retreat. And I remember just my mind being blown at how Susie's mind was even working. I'm like, this is amazing. She just pull this together and pull that together, and I'd have an idea for this for one of the stories. And it's fun when you have that many people just that know what they're doing, that know story, that know characters giving input. So while you're thinking, oh my goodness, that sounds like so much work, it is. But then to see every draft, it gets better and better. And I've read many of Rachel's books, and the quality of writing is so well. And picking your book up too, the quality of writing's there. So that's neat to know that your hard work, good job, your hard work paid off, because it's just a wonderful book. And those who love Rachel's books will just love that she's presenting you as an author and with this story.
Thank you. Yeah. And the brainstorming, Rachel and Susie have worked together for many years, and they know each other really well. So just watching them brainstorm was a lesson in brainstorming itself. They could bounce ideas back and forth, and one of them would say, no, that won't work, and the other one doesn't get offended at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And there'd be times in our brainstorming time, it'd be like, we're almost shouting like, oh, and this, and that, oh wait, no, that won't work. And like, it's just these intense moments.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. So we're doing this because we want to talk about pre-ordering. And one of the Facebook users already said they already pre-ordered and can't wait to read it. So it doesn't come out. It comes out for a month. So you're going to have to be patient, but I will tell you it is worth it. And I also want to talk about pre-ordering because it helps the author so much when people take time to pre-order. When the Amazon or Barnes and Noble or the bookstores see, oh, all these people are wanting this book, I'm going to have to order more copies. It just helps with the sales when they see that there's already a desire for these books. And so even though this book doesn't come out for a month and you're going to have to be patient, I promise it's going to be worth it. And if like this is exactly something I want to read, just pre-order it now. And I think I saw it's $4.99 to pre-order on Kindle.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to share anything else about the pre-ordering or?
No, you covered it. Yeah, please pre-order, and it helps us a lot.
I love that. Okay, so we have more comments in here. Kate said she pre-ordered.
Yay.
Ellie said she pre-ordered. So yes, thank you. Do that. And then look at this. We have a viewer right now from Kenya.
Oh, wow.
So hello to Kenya. And I'm actually in the book I'm writing right now. I was just in the Masai Mara in Kenya writing a scene. So, so this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then my sister-in-law is here. So hello. Paulette, to my sister-in-law. Okay, and then Kate. So Kate is helping us with the interview now. She says to make sure to follow Carrie at all her socials and her newsletters. Yes, Kate, I promise you I was going to get to that, but since Kate already brought it up. And I did want to mention too. So first of all, Carrie, tell us about where people can connect with you for your newsletter. But then I want to talk about, because you've written other things too. So first share, like Kate said, about your newsletter and socials. Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, carriepadgett.com. And there's links there to my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, BookBub, and Amazon pages. And
awesome.
So I'd love to connect with you there. My newsletter is still being developed, but very soon there will be a link there to sign up also.
Yeah. So if we want, like a link to that recipe for the cookies, maybe.
That's very possible.
That's something I definitely want because I want those cookies and
they are amazing.
Yeah. But I know that you've written other things too. So why don't you tell us about your other books that you have?
Okay. Yeah. I have one called Short, Sweet, and Sassy, and it's a collection of romantic short stories. They're perfect for just a few minutes. I don't think there's one over 3,000 words.
Oh, okay.
So they're all really short and very fun. And the cover is adorable with a cupcake on the front. And then I have a novella, Brooke Runs Away, and it's set in a fictional small town outside of Yosemite. I live about an hour from Yosemite.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of it takes place also in Southern California. Brooke runs away from her real life in Bass Lake, which is what my town is based on, and runs away to Southern California, and she gets mistaken for a contestant on a reality dating show. Ends up on the show, and of course she and the hero fall for each other, but there are complications because he's supposed to be dating other women too. And
I love that.
I had a lot of fun with that. The show that they're on is called Date My Son, and his mother is part of it, and it's actually his mother who gets to choose who stays and who goes.
That needs to be like a real show.
Yeah.
So hey, if you're a movie producer out there, I'm gonna tag my friends in this who are movie producer or TV show producers. I'm like, that sounds like it'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the first of a trilogy of novellas. Number 2 is done, and I'm getting ready to release it. It's called Lauren's Life After, and Lauren is also on a reality dating show where it pairs up first loves and exes, and so she's reunited with her high school boyfriend.
Okay, and maybe you just need to go into like Hollywood and start producing some shows.
And the third one is the one I'm working on right now, and it's Angie, and she's been jilted at the altar, and so her show is brides and grooms that were left at the altar.
Oh, wow. That sounds awesome.
So they have a lot of baggage to work through.
They do have a lot of baggage. Yeah. Well, and so did Chloe a little, not a lot. I mean, she did have some baggage. Chloe had some baggage that she had to work through too.
Yeah.
But we love her. She was an awesome person. Good. Okay. So if you go like just to Amazon or can they just put your name in and these books will pop up?
Yep.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention, when you go to Amazon, if you click on follow, so I did that today when I was going through and looking to see what else Carrie wrote, I put follow, and so when One Fine Day gets ready to release, it will alert you, or any other books. So when she puts these other 2 novellas that she's talking about, when those release, you'll get an email, and it's always like, ooh, yes, I need more books to buy, honey. The emails pop up and just remind me of all the books that I still need to buy from all the authors that I love. Yeah. So awesome. All right. So Kelly said, can't wait to read this. Love the cover.
Thank you.
And I'm going to put the cover up again because my screen locked me out. This is adorable. And I love, it's just so fun and quaint. And this is something you definitely feel like you just get swept away with this type of book. And they just need the cookies in the front though. So was this your first full-length novel that you wrote?
I had written several others, so this was the first one to see the light of day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My agent
oh,
has been shopping women's fiction set in my same fictional small town up by Yosemite.
oh, good. So hopefully we'll have some good news about some of those soon too.
Really?
That would be awesome. Yeah. So what is the difference for those? Just the difference between writing, like you've written short stories and then you've written novellas and the novels. Like, what is the difference of just the writing journey and you find yourself on when you're writing those longer books?
Yeah, definitely more plot threads to juggle. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, when we brainstormed, we had those giant post-it notes on the walls. And so while I was writing one fine day, our hallway was just lined with those because I had giant one for Sam's journey and Chloe's journey, and then one for both of them together to make sure I was keeping them on the same spiritual thread and personal growth arc of working through their problems. And of course, they each had to have a Black moment and had to make sure that those work together. So yeah, it's just a lot of threads, a lot of balls in the air to juggle.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question. Paulette asked if it's going to be an audiobook.
It is, yes.
Yay, Paulette, yes. Yeah. Awesome. So is that going to be released around the same time, do you know, as when the book releases?
So. I believe so.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I listen to way more audiobooks than I do read because, you know, I can do it when I'm folding laundry or cooking dinner for my family or all those things.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Good. Yeah. So Paulette, there you go. You could listen to an audiobook. So going from writing, you know, a solitary solo author to all of a sudden writing with, you know, help with Susan May Warren and Rachel Hauk, what do you think the difference was when you were working on this book as compared to before when you were just doing it by yourself?
Yeah, they're definitely collaborative. And also our Hearts Bend gals, all four of us, we chat on Zoom at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And so that was helpful too, because we know what everybody's story world is and each other's characters and can do a little bit of crossover threading. That's always fun.
Good.
When characters from one book pop up in another in a series, you know.
Oh, that's super fun. So yeah, because the four authors are talking, you could each share, okay, well, you could put this one, or they could have people come to the bakery and awesome.
And we have a group text too, and somebody will say, did we ever decide on the name of the grocery store and where it's located? And how about the church? Where's the church? So, and we were able to have a map drawn of Hearts Bend that will be in the book too. So
good.
That'll be really fun for readers, especially those Rachel's readers who are already familiar with Hearts Bend. They'll get to see exactly where Havens is and Valentino's and the wedding shop and so on.
Oh, awesome. So if people are familiar with some of Rachel's books, they'll just see all those places and some of those people in the book too.
Exactly.
Oh, that is so cool. I love it. Yeah, I need to do a map for mine. My authors have been saying, we need a map. So this is a good reminder. We need to do a map. That is awesome. Yeah, so fun. Okay, so now that the book is releasing, what is it like to think that someday, you know, it's going to be out there? Like, I'm reading it, I'm loving it. I'm like, oh, I love Chloe, I love Sam. What is it like when you know that there's readers out there that soon are going to be able to, you know, jump into this world with you?
It's exciting and scary. I've been around in publishing and with writers long enough to know that some reviewers can just be mean-spirited. And so that's a little scary to open yourself up for that. But I'm not overly sensitive about my writing. I am as a person. I get my feelings hurt easily.
Aww.
As a writer, it doesn't bother, criticism doesn't bother me at all. I can just let it roll off my back. So I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. Well, hopefully we won't have any negative reviews at all.
Exactly. We just want positive ones.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to having people read it and fall in love with Chloe and Sam as much as I did.
I love it. Well, and I would love to hear, you just said, you know, you've been on this writing journey a while. How has that journey been? Because I think there's so many people out there that think maybe I could write a book or I don't know. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to this place you are now?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a writer, and I was a voracious reader as a kid. I was the one reading the back of the cereal boxes and so on. And I tried writing right after high school. I was doing a Nancy Drew style mystery, and it was bad. Even I knew it was bad. So I just set it aside and thought, I'm just going to be a reader, not a writer. And then fast forward probably 20 years or so, and I was giving a talk on romance in marriage at church to a women's group, and wrote some notes out. And I had a friend, a neighbor who is a writer, asked her to look at the notes, and she said, "This is really good. It should be an article." So I did turn it into an article and eventually sold it. And that kind of started me writing nonfiction. I wrote articles and devotionals, and then thought, well, maybe I'll try fiction again, because by then I learned that writing was something you could be taught and learned, and there were skills and so on.
Yeah.
And so then I found a local writing teacher. She's passed away now, and I miss her terribly, but she co-wrote for Harlequin and Silhouette in the 1980s.
Oh,
and
wow.
She taught workshops in her home. So I came across her, and she taught me so much. But then I also started going to conferences and taking workshops and just continuing to learn and hone my craft and get better. And Elnora, the writing teacher locally, she always said that she knew I would make it, that I would be published.
Oh, I love that so much.
Just wish she was still here to see it, because she would say, "I told you so."
I told you so. I love that. Yeah. And is that where you met your agent, at a conference?
Yes. I've been to Mount Hermon several times, ACFW. And yes, I met Janet at one of the conferences, and I knew right away she was my dream agent. I started pursuing her. It took several years, but she never said stop bothering me. So I kept sending stuff.
That's a good sign. They will, they don't keep encouraging you if they don't want to work with you. So I love that. I love that. Okay. So Kate had an answer that I always end with. So Kate, you're awesome, because you're just helping me along with this interview. So what books do you find, what Christian fiction books do you find yourself just loving to share and recommend to other people?
Oh, I love Susie. I buy everything by her and share it with my friends. A lot of your stuff too is great.
Oh, okay.
And Rachel. I've turned several friends onto Rachel now, and they adore her. And Karen Barnett, she did 3 books set in different national parks. And of course, one is Yosemite, but all of them were great. I loved all 3 of those. Who else is on my auto buy? Lynette Eason from the season 2. Those are great. Tamara Alexander.
Yes.
Robin Lee Hatcher.
Yep, those are 2 of my buddies. I'm planning to go to Belle Meade, which was where Tamara Alexander set some of her books for Mother's Day.
Oh, nice.
Okay, family, this is what I want to do for Mother's Day. You're going to go on this tour of a Southern plantation with me, because my friend Tammy wrote books there. So.
Yeah, I love all of hers.
Yeah, and I love how you said auto buy, and that's why it's so important to like the authors on Amazon, and they just tell you when the book's released. Even if you want to purchase from someplace else, christianbook.com, or go into a local bookstore, that's great. But it's so great that you know, like, oh, so-and-so has a new book out. And so I love that you mentioned auto buy.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. All right. Well, I just appreciate you being here. I'm going to show them the cover one more time, because it is so amazing. So, and the title is One Fine Day. And so make sure you go check it out. Pre-order it. It's only $4.99 on Kindle, but also you can pre-order the print book. You can pre-order the audiobook now. And I am enjoying it so much. I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the town, the situations, everything about it. You did a fantastic job. So great job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've had a blast. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.